You are now listening to the Highly Evolved Podcast with your host, Safan. Transmission will commence momentarily.
How you doing, guys? Let's start the show. This is the Highly Evolved Podcast, Week in Review. You can find me on Twitter and gab.ai. Okay, for this week in review. What's happening this week? What's going on? I'm not sure how this planned out, guys, but okay. on the entertainment news last week, Disney finally finalized their deal with Fox. All right, I'm not sure how's the thing planned out, but it said mainly most of Fox assets gonna be transferred to Disney, and Fox asset and probably the news organization, but that's still in the gray area, so I'm not sure on that. But you might want to do research on that. But they finalized the deal. About $70+ billion worth has been transferred, and it went through. All right, and this is bad, I think, because now Disney got the majority of intellectual property out there right now. They got the main portion, besides from Warner Brothers and Viacom and Columbia. Now, I think Disney goes to acquire all type of media, and they become they become a monopoly of media, a global conglomerate of media, and that's kind of bad because now one entity of media have full control of what's going on, of what you see, what you hear around the world, and that's not good. That's bad. And like I said before, I'm not a big Disney fan, and because of this, now it's said in the news that Disney, because the deal just went through, Disney are planning to fire a lot of people. All right, lay off a lot of people, and that's a lot. You would think the acquisition of another company would stabilize the job, but not in this case, because Disney, an article came out, said Disney gonna fire a lot of people, gonna lay off a lot, mainly people from the Fox divisions. And this acquisition is not good. See, what Fox did was, why do Fox need to sell it? I don't understand. Could they just, I mean, I'm not in the board, so I wouldn't understand. I wouldn't say I know everything, but I guess money talks and BS walks, you know. But Disney, now they got the main media company. They own ABC, Miramax, what else? Some other stuff, Castle Rock. They own Star Wars. They own Marvel, which is crazy. Now it's just Warner Brothers, DC versus Disney and Marvel. It's just crazy. I don't like this acquisition. And Fox, you know, I'm not a big supporter of Fox. They did some good stuff. Yet again, they have a history of doing some bad stuff, and this is one of them. You know, Fox is a part of the mainstream media. They are also under the umbrella term of fake news as well. But sometimes they do report good. They do report some fair and balanced media, but the majority is fake news. Some of them are, and yeah, that's what's going on in show business. Besides from that, they've announced that the new Bill and Ted is coming out. Now, I don't know who owned the Bill and Ted franchise. Maybe Viacom, but the TV show I used to watch was on Fox as a child. But I'm not sure who owned Bill and Ted, but they're making a new movie dropping out of summer 2020. So they'll start production this year in the summertime. But I'm very stoked about that. But yet again, don't hold me on this. But I think there will be a occultic symbolism in that movie because they are a part of Hollywood. But I like the franchise, and it's part of my child. It's like people who watch Ghostbuster and the 2016 Ghostbuster comes out and they completely ruin their expectation of it. So for me, they better not ruin this expectation for me. So this is like my childhood. Ghostbuster. No, not Ghostbuster. Bill and Ted. And they put San Dimas on the map. If you don't know what San Dimas is a suburb of Southern California. It's in the, I don't want to say the inlet, the valley. somewhere in there, and they're known for the water park called Raging Waters. So they put, but in the movie it's not called Raging Waters, it's called Waterloo. But yeah, Bill and Ted put San Dimas on the map. Let's give that props. But besides that, it's last week another news happened. It was all over the news about how John McCain. People find out John McCain. Excuse me. Scratch my nose. John McCain was on the news saying that he knew about the dossier, and instead of handing it to the committee, the intelligence committee, he handed it out straight to the FBI, which, and it looked bad on his behalf because it looked like he had a motive by giving it directly to the FBI instead of the committee that he was on, and Donald Trump found this out, and Donald Trump was pissed about this. He was royally pissed, and he said this is my thing. You could disagree with people, but you don't have to like them. It's okay not to like people, but don't hate the person. I think this is what Donald Trump trying to say. He disagreed with John McCain. He wasn't a big fan, but he's not like he totally hate him about it. But he was kind of ticked off because John McCain made his part of his presidency, first year of his presidency, a hell because he prevented Trump from doing a lot of stuff instead of helping him out, because McCain was still harboring this animosity, this jealousy within him, because I don't know, I think it stemmed it that McCain tried so hard, multiple times tried to become president, and Trump came out of nowhere, tried his first time, and he became president. And to me, from my opinion, I think it stuck with John McCain. It was like some kind of jealousy was in him, and throughout his last term as Senate, he tried to make Donald Trump presidency a living hell because of it. He campaigned all this time to repeal Obamacare, and when Trump got in office trying to repeal Obamacare, he didn't even try to do that. He didn't even try to help repeal Obamacare. All right, it's in the records. All right, and that's what's pissed a lot of people off about John McCain. Sure, he pleased. See, the thing with John McCain, I view him more of a liberal than it is a conservative. But he's a rhino. That's what it is. That's what a rhino is. Republican in name only. But he was perceived as conservative. But all his issues basically leaning towards liberalism, which is bad thing, which is retarded, a danger to society, totally contradict the Constitution. All right, the biggest threat in America is liberalism, like Ronald Reagan said. Liberalism is a kind of fascism. You ever seen a liberal? If you disagree with them, they try to beat you down, try to make you agree with them. How is that productive, right? If I disagree with you, you try to beat me up. That sounds like fascism to me. That's what fascism do. You disagree with a fascist, they beat you up until you submit that you agree with them. That's what a fascist is. That's their tactics. Fascists, browncoats, and all that crap, all right? But yeah, this week I just want to tell you guys this is a really slow news week. Nothing big happened until the end of the week. We'll come to that. But another thing that happened during this week was New Zealand finally banned military-style weapons, which is, talk about jumping the guns, right? No pun intended. They jumped the gun big time. It took only them 6 days to fully ban all military-style weapons. You know what the word semi-automatic is, meaning all guns. That's what it is. When somebody uses semi-automatic, that means all guns. All handguns to the consumer are all under the compass, all under the umbrella term of semi-automatic, right? A regular Glock gun is semi-automatic because it doesn't shoot automatically. Fully automatic is when the gun is a machine gun. It just keeps shooting. That's a fully automatic. Semi-automatic, it means you have to pull the trigger all the time. Bam, 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 bam. You have to pull the trigger. That's semi-automatic. When you say semi-automatic, that by default meaning all guns. All right? Even rifles, shotguns, handguns. They're all semi-automatic. which is ridiculous. Now the people don't have, just because of one isolated incident, everybody had to pay the price. But that's what you expect if from a country that's connected to the Commonwealth, the Union Jack, under the Queen rules. All right, New Zealand is under the Queen rule. When you look at their flag, they still have the Union Jack on it. Same goes for Australia. Same goes for the British Virgin Island. It's all under the compass of the Union Jack, the Commonwealth. The Queen own it. All right. If it has the Union Jack on it, it means it's a property of the Queen. Which is, luckily, I don't live there. I'm glad, and we'll get to another news. There's more news on Britain, but we'll come to that. All right. But yeah, New Zealand's finally banned theirs because of this isolated instance. They jumped the guns big time. Just ban all guns, basically. And I really encourage people in New Zealand, the Kiwis, if you guys seen this just by chance, I don't know, many people probably won't see this because I'm a low subscribed channel and I'm not, but if you guys do see this, you guys should be in an uproar at your government. Why even vote these people in if they're going to infringe on your right? Well, it's not our rights. It's not. They don't have gun rights in New Zealand. They only have measures and stuff. But I'm sorry, man. Come to America. No, I'm saying we're full. America is full. We have our own problems with this, our immigration problem. But I feel sorry for you, man. Kiwis. You know what you do? You should have an uproar against your politician. Either vote them out, get them out somehow. Because you don't need this BS. This is because of isolated instance. Everyone had to pay for it. So that means you can't defend yourself if there's an intrusion. Sure, New Zealand have a low crime rate, right? But the reason why they have the low crime rate is because they have access to guns. The people in New Zealand are heavy armed, right? So people know that they're heavy armed. So that's why the crime rate is low. Because if I know my neighbor's armed, I would not commit a crime with them. I would not go instigate any problem because I know they're armed. This is why their crime rate is so low, because they have the ability to hold arms, to bear arms, and to protect themselves. Now, I don't know what's gonna happen. When you look at New Zealand police, they do not look intimidating at all compared to the state police. But I digress on that. But now people aren't gonna be armed. But let's see how the crime rate goes up. Let's see. Just give it some time. Let's see how New Zealand crime rate can go up because people aren't armed. Let's see, because there are poor people in New Zealand as well, poor people, and there are crimes. There are juveniles and all this stuff. New Zealand's not that different from any other places. They still have crime. Just because there's a low amount of crime right now, that doesn't mean they don't have any crime. But now the guns being taken away. Let's see how it's gonna happen. All right. Let's see how is this gonna fully affect? What are people gonna protect themselves with now? Knives? Look that now and look and let me slow down. I'm talking too fast. All right. Since they banned guns, now people gonna find some other alternative to protect themselves. And then they're gonna use knives, right? Now, what if knives go out of hand? Will they fall into the same situation as London? Because London, they want to ban knives now. Mayor Khan, whatever it is, Sadiq Khan, because the knives epidemic is going skyrockets through the roof, and now they want to ban knives now. Look it up. Don't just take my word for it. I'm not like the mainstream media when they tell you one thing and you automatically listen to them. All right. I don't have that authoritative prestige background. All right. I don't have that rights to tell you what to do. That's why I'm encouraging everybody who listens to my channel to look it up. Don't just take my word for it. But that's what's happening in New Zealand. Their guns being taken away from them. Let's say that. All guns semi-automatic. They use the term semi-automatic so loosely. All right? But segue to another news, all right? Another thing that happened was Donald Trump signed a free speech on college campuses executive order, right? This is big, right? Now, because free speech are being banned, conservative voices will be heard. And now, not just only liberals, but conservative voice will be heard around campus without any obstruction, because these let's say public colleges, right, state colleges, they still need the grants of the U.S. government to function. If they don't comply by these rules, sharing free speech from conservative or liberals, they will not be funded, all right, because they're violating the executive order. Because free speech, I don't know if anybody know, but free speech or hate speech are covered under the Free Speech Act. Any speech or hate speech are free speech, all right, as long as you don't hurt anyone. All right, so if you're anti-abortion, you're free to go up there and say anything you want. If you're a conservative, you're free to go on colleges and say whatever you want, because they have to be protected. So by Trump signing this executive order, is giving a let's say let's say relief for conservative on campus to voice their opinion. And then when people voice their opinion, new ideas can be heard. Because right now, the only idea that's being held in college campuses is liberal ideas. And how the hell do you think properly if you only hear one-sided ideas? You need the multiple-sided ideas from conservative, liberals, right? So you can make your own judgment which one they like the best. Now, if only liberal ideas are being heard, that means all the students are being indoctrinated into liberal ideology. All right, they're not hearing the other side out. And then to make an informed decision, you have to see both sides, not just one side. Liberals think narrowly. They only see one-sided, all right? To be a critical thinker, you have to see both sides, all right? This is why it's so important to listen to both sides of the story before you jump to conclusion. This is why we have due process. Due process before making irrational decision by judging people. This is what liberals like to use. They want to say, stop judging people. Yet again, they judge people. They judge conservative. All right? They don't want to be the person who judge people. Yet again, they're judging conservative. See how hypocritical they are? They're a bunch of hypocrites. Hypocrite liars. These liberals, these Democrats, they're hypocrite liars. All right? They don't want to see anything both sides. They want to see one-sided story. That's why I don't identify myself as a liberal or a conservative. I'm mainly leaning conservative because liberal is too stupid, all right? But I'm an independent. Let's say that. But I'm leaning on the conservative side there because they're the one to think rationally the most. These retarded liberals. But that's one big thing that's going on in the news right now, right? Trump signed this executive order, right? And college, out of all places, you think college was all about free speech, right? The Berkeleys in the 1960s, they were all praising free speech. And now all of a sudden, they want banned speeches? How retarded does that sound? Have they lost all their principle back in the 60s? Have they lost all their fight? What were they fighting for back then? They're fighting for free speech, and now they're trying to oppress free speech. You see how this worked? You see how this playing out? They're fighting for free speech, but fast forward 30 years from now, 40, 50 years from now they're fighting against free speech. You see how ludicrous this sounds? You see, then what's the point? Liberals, look yourself in the mirror. Ask yourself, what's the point of advocating free speech, but yet again you're fighting against free speech? Did you see how hypocritical you sounds? All right? But anyway, it's a good thing that Trump signed this, and let's make a segue to another news, all right? Okay, this is on the Democrat, the ludicrous Democrat again. Democrats are so disarrayed right now. They don't have no leadership. All right, this news comes about that Rashida Tlaib said, no matter what Nancy Pelosi said, they're still moving forward with the Green New Deal. They're still infatuated with the Green New Deal after all the facts and evidence proving that it will not work. It will crush the economy. It will ruin America, and they're still pushing forward. See, it shows you these Democrats, liberals, they will not learn until they suffer. Sometimes people will not learn until they suffer. All right? If you agree with me, leave a comment below. Some people will not learn until they suffer. It's like the kid that touched the stove, right? You tell the kid not to touch it. it's hot, and he still won't listen, and he still touch it, then he find out it's hot. See, some kids you have to teach the hard way, all right? If I were me, I was like, all right, go touch the hot stove. He feel it? All right, you like that pain? No. All right, now you know how it feels like. Don't do it again. Bam. He learned his lesson. So that's what these Democrats are. They will not learn the lesson until they feel suffering. They are so retarded. And then what the rational people are telling them, we understand we understand how things work. We're telling you it will not work, and they still won't listen. We're telling them it will crush the system, and they still won't listen. All right? These people are going off the rail. They're completely nuts. That's why a lot of people are leaving the Democratic Party in drove, right? These low IQ people, they don't understand. Even some Democrats, the moderate Democrats, they realize this, but like Nancy Pelosi's the moderate, she realizes it, and then her own party still won't listen to them. She is the worst leader the Democrat have. Besides from Obama and all the previous predecessor, she do not know how to lead. Look how disarray they're in right now. All right, they're so disorganized and retarded. Don't be a Democrat. If you don't want to be known as stupid, dumb, don't be a Democrat. And segue to another news this week. Like I said before, it's a very slow news day, all right, news week. But the one major big news that came out was the Mueller reports. And surprise, surprise, it came out 3/22 on a Friday. And if you know about occultic, 3/22 are the skulls and bones, right? Skulls and bones. And like I said before, he signed free speech laws that affect college campuses. And what the skulls and bones are known for, they're college secret society, all right? What Trump did was he didn't sign. What happened on 3/22 is the Mueller report came out on a Friday, all right? That means with no indictments, no further indictments, right? Oh, why did he release it on Friday? Because Friday people won't be talking about it. It's purposely released on Friday for a reason. Robert Mueller noticed. I was about to call him Paul Mueller. Robert Mueller noticed, so that's why he wanted to release it on Friday late. It was late on Friday, and nobody and people were expecting for it to come out like in the daytime, but he intentionally released it at that time, so it wouldn't be how am I gonna say this? It'll be under the radar, right? But he's stupid. It's 2019, so the social media is gonna eventually comes out, and the media, especially the mainstream media, especially MSNBC, right? They all in a panic right now. They're majorly panicked. They don't know because within 2 years, the whole story, the whole premise was Russia collusion. Now Robert Mueller totally disproved the collusion, right? They don't have nothing to run on anymore. They got no story. Most of the stories about Russia collusion, which there's no evidence, right, that proves that Donald Trump. They want to say, oh, he had business tie. Just because it's a business tie doesn't mean he have collusion, all right? And collusion is not a crime. Look, me and you could talk right now. That could be considered as collusion, all right? If I go to my friend's house and we conversate, that's considered as collusion. See how stupid it sounds? But yeah, he released it on Friday, and on the mainstream media, you can see there's a viral video of Rachel Maddow. I can't show it to you guys. If I show it to you guys, they'll ban my channel. They will censor it. But she was crying. She was tearing up. She wasn't full-blown Cry Me a River crying, but she was tearing up. You could tell that she's upset. And Mika Brzezinski was really hesitant to say indictment when she finally read the breaking news. She said, indictments? No further indictments? It was hilarious. It was hilarious. You gotta see it. I'm sure it's somewhere on the web right now. It's gone viral. It's gone viral. It shows you how stupid the mainstream media and they have lost all credibility within CNN, MSNBC, and all the fake news out there, right? CNN, they have nothing to run on anymore. They're the lowest running news, All right. They have no credibility. Now they got no story to run on. No more collusion. No more BS and none of this stuff. All right. And another news. Let's go on to the border news. All right. Let's go into the border news. There's a real crisis at the border. I think last week, right? This week, right? About 400 people was detained within the first hour. Within an hour, right? At the borders. I'm like, what the hell? 400 people. Within an hour. Within that time frame, hour, 5 minutes. But you know what I'm trying to say. That's a lot of people. And right now, on media, they're building the wall. They're starting to build the wall this week in San Diego. They're replacing the wall, but the mainstream media is not telling you this, right? In San Diego, Gavin Newsom came out, made a viral video. Here's the thing here's what happened on last week. Gavin Newsom went to the southern border of California and said, "Oh, you try to tell people that there's no emergency. People are not rushing back and forth." But in his video, he's not showing there's the walls up there, and it's a busy highway, right? The reason why people aren't crossing because there's a wall right there. He's an idiot, all right? And right now they're starting what they're doing this week in San Diego. That they're replacing a taller wall, a 30-foot wall. That's high as heck, 30-feet wall, and this time the wall is see-through. It's not a blank wall where there's nothing to see. It's actually a see-through wall. A steel slat wall. You can see it. And they're finishing up. They're putting new walls, and they're upgrading the one they have right now. So if you guys are worried about the wall is being built right now in San Diego, especially where it needed the most right now, because a lot of trafficking goes down in San Diego. All right, a lot of traffic. Now what they need to do in San Diego is to have some kind of barrier to block tunnels. All right, not only walls but tunnels as well. Because there's many numerous stories out there that shows that these cartel was digging holes under the wall. So I hope these walls are impenetrable, right? But this week they're building a wall in San Diego, and yeah, they've been detaining people like crazy. And what's in the news that they're telling is that what's in the article I read that they are there's so much detainees that it's overcrowded the facility, and they need to release them, not into Mexico soil, but to a Greyhound station, and then as the people have to find their way to get a shelter, and find a relative, and they have to report back to court on a later date, which is stupid. They just release them into the general public, right? And they expect them to come back. They're not going to come back. They just basically disappeared, all right? They just disappeared. And these people are not going to come back for the court date. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. So if they are able to break the law at first, what makes you think they can follow the law again by coming to the court appearances, right? That's a major mercy. That's a major news right now, that these people are being detained, and it's so crowded right now that they're being released back to the general population, and not just the general population is being it's not being released to the Mexican population. It's releasing to American population. That's more outrageous. That's why I'm so furious because of this. This is why, this is one thing I'm mad at Trump, because he's not making a better oversight about this. All right? He's not overseeing the stupidity of this. Like, why are you releasing you're campaigning to get these people out of the country, but you're not knowing that these people are being released to the general population. This needs to stop. Right? About 400 people was caught crossing the borders, plus within 1 hour. And this happened somewhere, I think, in New Mexico, right? Either New Mexico or Texas, right? But, yeah. And last week I discussed Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke came out again, knowing to say all these Russia collusion, right? He sound like a conspiracy theorist. They want to downplay conspiracy theories, and now they're pushing this Russia collusion, which is a conspiracy theory. They don't understand that. Now he's saying he's saying that there are evidence that prove that there's collusion. Like, what evidence? Robert Mueller, the guy who's on your side, already said there's no need for indictments. Self-explanatory. There's no collusion. There's no evidence for collusion, and he's still perpetuating this Russia collusion. They have nothing to run on. They're still that's their one hope, and now their hope of Russia collusion died. Right? You know what to do with the Russia collusion? Is the Saul Alinsky tactics. One of Saul Alinsky tactics is to blame your opponent of what you are guilty of, right? Which is Hillary is guilty of Uranium One deal, which she have a bit when she was Secretary of State. She did the Uranium One deal, which is a Russia collusion, right? And now she blaming Trump, or the Democrats are blaming Trump for what they are guilty of. That's a Saul Alinsky tactics. All right, you know Saul Alinsky is a rebel. He's a socialist, right? A liberal. He wrote this book called Rules for Radicals, right? And who wrote? You know who read that book? Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, right? Barack Obama's mentor is what's his name? Bill Ayers. Bill Ayers is a radical, and he's teaching politics. He's teaching politics at what UC Berkeley or something like that. He's a radical, right? These people are terrorists. Rules for Radicals. Oh, if you read the book Rules for Radicals, that's basically the Democratic handbook. How they play the system, how their tactics. The thing is, people don't know how their tactics was played before. Now it's open secret now. Then everybody knows their tactics that they're using. If you read the Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, you can realize what tactics the Democrats are going to use next. All right, that's their handbook basically, and that's what Robert O'Rourke is using right now. I bet you he read it. I'm telling you, he's a Gen Xer, so there's correlation between punk hack. He said he's a punk rock. He like punk rock. He's a hacker, and Gen X are known for that. And what do Gen X is known for? Rebellious and all that stuff. He could be a terrorist, for all I know. All right. This congressman who achieved nothing within his 3 terms of Congress. And he lost the Senate race. And he thinks he's going to win the presidency. This guy's a joke. Robert O'Rourke is a doofus. Right? Now he comes out that he still think that there's collusion. What an idiot, man. But let's segue to another news. All right. This week just happened this week, right? Yesterday, the Brexit march, people march. These people are people who's marching to get back into the European Union. They're marching to get back into the European Union, which is retarded. If they're still asleep, these sheeple. Let me remind you, it was the European Union that put you in the state that you want to get out of Brexit. It's the reason the European Union is the reason why the referendum was placed to vote by the people in the beginning, like a couple years ago. 2 years ago, right? I think it's 2 years ago, right? It's the European Union fault that you voted against the European Union, and now you want to get back, right? Which is retarded. You already been voted for. The people have spoken. Now you want to overturn that. What's the point of it? What's the point of voting? Just because your side didn't win, you want to overturn the vote. That's like the Democrats. These 1 million people that show up, there's 1 million Democrats. That's what it is. Liberals, right? That's the thing with liberals. Just because the favor is not on their side, right? The favors are not on their side. They want to discredit everything and redo the whole thing. Excuse me. Sorry. I got a gas right there. But yeah, that's what and it's been in the news last week too. This week, I mean. Elizabeth Warren won't get rid of the electoral college just because the rules is not on their side. They won't get rid of it. All right? They won't lower the voting age just because the rules on their side, right? Just because the rules are not on their side. They want to do all this stuff. They don't want voting ID because the rules not on their side. See, when everything that doesn't go to their ways, they want to abolish it. But if it's in their ways, they want to protect it. Might I remind you, liberals? Might I remind you, it was the Electoral College that got Obama elected. Hello, McFly. All right, wasn't Obama got elected through Electoral College? Now you want to get rid of it? Stupid, right? It's so dumb. It's so dumb. The Electoral College is placed in there so it'll be an even fair share that each state have a voice. If there's no electoral colleges, that means all the candidates will fly to major cities, major states, and just only campaign over there and avoid all these over states like Nebraska, Iowa, North Dakota, Wyoming. They're going to avoid that state. All right? They're not even going to try to campaign there. This is why the Electoral College was placed in the beginning, so it will be an even playing field for all states. That means all the candidates have to campaign in all states, not just a French state. All right, not California, New York, or Florida, and Texas. That's it. This is retarded. This is why we have the Electoral College. If we don't have the Electoral College, let me put it in simple terms. If we don't have electoral colleges, that means the election will be determined on only a few states instead of all 50 states. All right, I don't know how clear I could put it. And see how unfair if the election is determined by only 5 states. You see how unfair it is. This is why we have the Electoral College. Liberal, I know it's hard to comprehend right now. All right, but this is why we have the Electoral Colleges. Jesus Christ, it's like talking to 5-year-olds. I don't know how we lowered the standard just because they don't get it. We have to lower ourselves down. We have to lower the standard. These days, our educational system, we have to lower because there's so much. Look, there's a thing in school right now, requirement that if you want to be a teacher in the future, especially in California, you have to learn. You have to speak more than 1 languages. So you have to. There's a rule in California. If you want to be a teacher, you have to speak either Korean. You have to know 3 languages: Korean, Spanish, and English, which is ridiculous. And I think the reason why they say Korean is because, I don't know, they might think that something that happened in the Korean Peninsula or something, like a war broke out, and we're going to get all these migrants of Korean people. Because Southern California, there's a lot of Korean people already. They outnumber the Chinese. It's crazy, right? But what if you didn't learn these? You know how hard it is to learn the language? All right, now you have to accommodate these students. First of all, if you come to this country, would you want to? Why wouldn't you want to learn the language? I mean, the whole city revolves around the language of English. You're supposed to learn English first. All right, we're not supposed to accommodate to you. This is not your country. If you want to accommodation, why don't you stay in your own country? I don't understand this. All right. When you come to another city or another country, you're supposed to assimilate, so you know how things are function, how things work. All right, which is retarded. Now that there's this ordinance that if you want to be a teacher, you have to know 3 languages now, and that's not fair to people who want to teach. What if they don't learn? What if they don't grow up in this language? How are they supposed to learn? It's ridiculous. I'm not saying that some teachers don't know multiple languages, but what if they don't have that how to say this, that resources, that convenience of learning a language? That's retarded. Now that's if proving my point. We have to lower to their standards now. They're not living up to our standards. All right, we have a standard. See, we have a standard, and we must uphold our standards. We don't have to lower anything down. Make tests even stupider. All right, how that would not benefit nobody. All right, it will not benefit anybody from being smarter. This is only encouraging them to be dumber if we can lower our standards. Man, there's a lot of things going on, right? We already talked about the Brexit. All right, the immigrants law. We already talked about that. This is an article I read. What happened is that there was a report done that glyphosate is in everything now. I made a video about this, right? Glyphosate is a Roundup-ready chemicals, right? It's a herbicides that they use to kill weeds. It's a weed killer. It turns out that when they use this herbicide on wheat and corn and stuff, there's still a trace amount that's still on the plant that hasn't been washed off yet. So when they use these grains in our food, right? Mainly processed food use all grains, right? In our food, there's still trace of glyphosate in our food. And because of there's trace of glyphosate, which is toxin, is known to be a cancer-causing effect, right? And is being ingested by our children and us, right? One food that's being tested right now is Quaker oatmeals, and they have a high amount of glyphosate. They once said there's acceptable. They followed the EPA guideline. There's acceptable amount. You know what? All right, isn't it acceptable amount is no amount at all? I mentioned this in my video. Why have to cater to this? Why do we have acceptable amounts of rat feces in our food, human DNA? Why is there acceptable amount? There shouldn't be no acceptable amounts. I don't want to eat glyphosate. I don't want to eat cancer-causing thing. Now Monsanto's had to pay what a $250 million bill to a guy. I might get the number wrong, but it's a substantial amount of money that they just lost, and now they have to pay it up. And now other peoples are suing these companies, and now Monsanto, they're in a deep load of crap right now, right? Bayer, Ortho, they're all under the same company, under the same umbrella, right? Under the same umbrella. These companies being sued left to right. Another company is being sued this week. This week is Twitter by Devin Nunes, a congressman in California, one of the good guys, right? He's suing Twitter right now for being discriminatory to conservative views, right? In my opinion, it's gonna be settled out of court, right? It's gonna be settled out of court. Devin Nunes is gonna make a lot of money. I don't know what he's gonna do with the money, right? I have no opinion of Devin Nunes. I'm in the middle between them, right? I don't know what he's gonna do with the money, right? But it's reported they're gonna settle, right? They're gonna settle the case because it's bad publicity. That's what they want to say. But in my opinion, the reason why companies usually settle because they don't have a chance of winning in court, right? That's what it's telling me. If a company is willing to settle with you, it means that it's a losing battle. They're not gonna win it over court. They'd rather settle with you than to win it in court, right? That's kind of a red flag. If there's a settlement, that means they're doing something wrong, right? If there's a settlement between any kind of company, right, and still try to beat them in court, that means they don't have no confidence in their arguments, and they're lying about something. Lying about something, and there's a truth in it, right? That means that they are censoring people. They are censoring conservative voices, right? They know they're doing this. That's why they settled with Devin Nunes. I think they're going to settle. It hasn't official come out yet, but the rumor is they're going to settle with Devin Nunes, right? But the thing is, Devin Nunes is suing them for $250 million. That's a lot of freaking money, man. $250 million, right? I'm on Twitter. The reason why I'm on Twitter is because it's easier to get my message across if you follow me on there, all right? Facebook is dying. Facebook is a dying platform. The people are quitting left to right. The only people that use Facebook these days are grandmas. It's like MySpace now. And Instagram is getting sued, right? Instagram's getting sued. Instagram is under Facebook. The only thing that keeping Facebook alive is Instagram. That keeping Facebook relevant is Instagram, because they own Instagram, right? Speaking of social media, I don't know, you heard about this, but Flickr, if you don't know what Flickr is, it's photo sharing social media. They're about to collapse as well. They're about to lose a lot of jobs, right? They're about to collapse because they're not competing as well as Instagram right now. Before Instagram, there was Flickr. Flickr was a photo sharing. Now, when Instagram came out, now they have competition, right? The reason why Flickr is dying out because they didn't adapt to Instagram. They didn't make changes to Instagram, right? What Instagram did is a copy of Facebook, mixes with Flickr, and mixes with Snapchat and Vine. That's what it is. Instagram copy everything. There's no law out there right now that protects soft copying infringement. All right, so this is why Instagram are able to copy a lot of innovation from other company and not got sued yet because there's no law preventing them from doing it. And then because of that, people are migrating to Instagram, and the repercussion is that flickering is losing revenue, and they're dying right now. That's a story that's going on right now, and because of this, a lot of people are losing more jobs. See, because they're not adapting. Companies need to adapt. This, oh my God, and that's what's in the news right now. All right, but on that note, what do you guys think? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think, and follow me on Twitter. If anything, follow me on Gab.ai. Gab.ai is more of a freer platform. And the thing with Gab AI, they have this new thing called the Centers. The Centers is an extension on browsers where you could comment on articles that deleted comments. So basically, it's a way to bypass their censorship and apply our own free speech on top of their censorship. So that's a game changer that Gab's been released, an application or extension that they just came out with. So Gab is a good thing, guys. If anything, try to go on Gab, because all these liberal social media is a dying breed right now, and we need another platform, alternative platform that goes against the grain right now, and Gab is one of them. If anything, go find me on Gab. But on that note, guys, to let me know what you think, and this is all for this week in review for March 24th. And on that note again, I'm being redundant. You guys have a good day, and thanks for watching.